Hello students, good morning. Students, this is the lecture number 21 of the chapter first, and today we are going to discuss about transportation in plants. Then students, what is the transportation in plants? The movement of substances in plants, as we study in animals, also take place. It means the movement of carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis, absorption of water by the roots for the process of photosynthesis, as well as students, the substances which are synthesized by the process of photosynthesis, these food substances also distributed to the various part of the plant body with the help of this system. The transport system of the plants is mainly formed of two types of tissues. These tissues are collectively called vascular tissues or vascular bundle, and that are the xylem and phloem. And we very well know about the xylem and phloem in the previous classes, and before going to discuss more about these tissues, we are just going to define some of the terms that are important to understand the physiology of transportation in plants. So students, let's begin with these terms to understand the movement of substances in plants or transportation in plants. The first one phenomena is diffusion. Yes students, diffusion. What is diffusion? Simply, we can define the process of diffusion, the movement of substances from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration is known as diffusion. We can understand this phenomena with the help of a simple example. As we observe or put a bottle of perfume, in perfume bottle the scent are in concentrated form, and when we spray just a drop of that perfume, it covers the whole spaces present in the room with the help of air particles. Why a drop of perfume get scattered in the whole room? This is the fact on which we are going to discuss about diffusion. Whereas in compared to just a drop of perfume, we drop of water, what we observe, it just absorb on the surface at a single area or a unit area or a minute area. What is the reason behind this? The reason is that the air present inside the room has low essence of concentration, whereas the concentration of the bottled or canned perfume is more higher in compared to the air present in the room. That's why it easily diffuses inside the whole air present in the room as well as outside also. So students, what we observe in this example, we observe there is the movement of the essence of the perfume from the region of higher concentration that is available in the canned bottle, whereas the air in the room has lower concentration. So this is called diffusion. What is the importance of diffusion in plants in the sense of transportation? Then in photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, carbon dioxide gas is absorbed from the atmosphere during this phenomena or during the process of photosynthesis. The concentration of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere in compared to the plant is higher. That's why they easily absorb through the tiny pores present on the surfaces of the leaves called stomata. Next one is student respiration. The process of gaseous exchange also takes place through the presence of lenticular or the stomata on the leaves. This gaseous exchange process is also possible due to the process of diffusion. Next is the student transpiration. What is transpiration? The loss of water by the plants through their leaves with the help of stomata in the form of water vapor is known as transpiration. The availability of water inside the plant's leaf is higher than the availability of the moisture of water or presence of water vapor in the air is quite lower. Thus, the movement of the water vapor from the plant's body part, it means from leaves to the external atmosphere, is with the help of diffusion through the phenomena of transpiration. That's why during the summer season, when we sit on the shadow of or shade of the trees, it appears very cold or humid due to this phenomena of transpiration. Is that clear? Now students, the another phenomena is osmosis. Osmosis is just similar to the diffusion, but somewhat the differences is that it takes place across the semi-permeable membrane. Is that clear? And we also studied the plasma membrane or cytoplasmic membrane or unit membrane of the cell is semi-permeable in nature. So let's going to discuss first the definition of osmosis. Now we are going to discuss their types. What we observe in diffusion, the movement of substances from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. But here the movement of substances from region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration and across the semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. Is that clear? In diffusion, from the movement of substances from region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. But in osmosis, it is found that the movement of substances take place from region of lower concentration to the region of higher concentration across a semi-permeable. Students, you can easily understand the process of osmosis with the help of the example of resin and water. If you put some wrinkled resins, dried resins in water, after few hours later, you found the resins are just swell up and just bear the shape of grapes. What happened in this process? In this process, the solvent, it means the water, have lower concentration, and the saccharide present inside the resin has higher concentration. That's why the movement of the water take place inside the saccharides present inside the dried resins that makes swell up of the resins. This is the example of osmosis. And the resin's wall is made up of, or a micropilar region has a semi-permeable presence. Now, types of osmosis. On the basis of the movement of substances across the semi-permeable membrane, in sense of the plant physiology, it is of two types. The first one is the endoosmosis and second one is the exoosmosis. Now going to discuss about endoosmosis. In the plants, cell sap is more concentrated than water. The viscosity of the cell sap is higher than the water because the cell sap is somewhat sticky. Therefore, water moves inside the cell because of the concentration of water is lower than the cell sap. This inward movement of the solvent from region of higher concentration, it means outside the cell environment, to the lower concentration inside, it means inside the cytoplasm. The solvent through the plasma membrane is known as endoosmosis. You can clearly observe this in a passage cell. During diverse climatic conditions, when there is no rain for a long duration of time, what happens? The cell just going on continuously on transpiration by losing the water, and the requirement of water is given by or available by the vacuoles. So the vacuoles continuously provide the water. It means the water or the sap present inside the vacuole is known as cell sap. What? This is called cell sap. The cell sap mainly contain water and anthocyanin pigments along with some nutritious substance in very trace form. Okay? So here the arrow marks clearly gives us observation about the movement of water through cell sap to the cytoplasm, and during that diverse condition the cell membrane get flaccid. It means it starts wrinkling. This is take place when there is no rain for a long duration of time, or the level of the water goes very down. If long duration of time such condition take place, then the plants or trees starts becoming dead. Now students, the classic, what we observe in classic cell, we observe the movement of the water take place from the region of lower to higher concentration. Is that clear? As per the definition of osmosis. Now, in exoosmosis, the outward movement of the solvent molecules through plasma membrane from higher concentration of the solvent inside the cell. What is that? This is just the phenomena through which the absorption of water takes place inside the cell. As we clearly tell you that in the plant, cell sap is more concentrated than the water, that is solvent. Water is the universal solvent or solvent. So here the term solvent is used mainly for water. Is that clear? In this situation, the outward movement of the solvent molecules, it means the water molecules from outside the plant body, it means from the external environment, move towards through the plasma membrane from higher concentration, because this phenomenon takes place when there is more rain or availability of the water in the soil in adequate amount. So here the concentration of the solvent in the soil is higher in compared to the presence of or amount of water in the cytoplasm cell. But the concentration of the cytoplasm or cell sap inside the cell is more than the water. So the water moves from region of higher concentration and enters inside the cell to the lower concentration of the solvent, because the cytoplasm or cell sap has low amount of water in compared to the outside of the environment. In outside medium is called exoosmosis. And students, due to this phenomena, the cell become turgid in nature, absorb the more and more amount of water to become concentrated. It means it gets saturated with the absorption of water. What is saturation point and the saturation condition? When no absorption of water or no amount of water can be absorbed or held by a plant and their cells, this condition is called saturation. As you eat your meal in adequate amount and you reach at the level when you cannot consume any bit of the meal, the interesting dish or your favorite dish is kept in front of you, but you cannot take. This is called the saturation point or saturation condition. Like that here in turgid cell, the absorption of water get stopped because the cell cannot hold no more amount of water in exoosmosis. This condition takes place during the monsoon season or in spring. Is that clear? So students, what we observe here, we observe from the cytoplasm across the cell membrane, it means membrane of the vacuole, that is called chloroplast, the water enter inside the cell due to the exoosmosis. Is that clear? And during that situation, what you observe in placid cell, in turgid cell, here the shape of the vacuole is so large in compared to this vacuole, and the cytoplasmic membrane is just cover the whole or the border of the cell wall, but here it get wrinkled. It get wrinkled, but when the favorable condition arises, this living cell get turns in the turgid cell. It means from placid to turgid cell. Is that clear? Now students, here we use the term turgid and placid. Due to this, the phenomena will arise, that is the turgor pressure and turbidity. So going to discuss about turgor pressure and turbidity. Turbidity, as I was explained, turbidity means saturation point. You can closely relate the turbidity with the saturation point. Is that clear? When the substances spend, then further the any kind of osmosis take place in turgid cell. If no expenditure of the substance take place, then the transportation movement get stopped. In all living cells, water enters through osmosis. It is fact, that's why we study about these phenomena. If a placid cell is kept in water, what we observe, the water starts enter inside the cell by osmosis, because more concentration of the cell sap solution. The cell sap present inside the cell or placid cell is more concentrated than the water. That's why water starts enter inside the cell. During that time, the size of the vacuole expand. It means, as here we observe, this is the large shape of the vacuole, and exert pressure on the cell wall, and it exert a pressure on the cytoplasmic membrane or the inner membrane of the cell wall. This condition of the cell is called turbidity. When it starts exert pressure, it means the cell vacuole absorb adequate amount of water to goes on its saturation point, then no more water can absorb. It starts exert a pressure on the cytoplasmic membrane or inner membrane of the cell wall. This is called turbidity. Whereas the outward pressure on the cell wall by the presence of this fluid is known as turgor pressure. Is that clear? Now students, after the turgor pressure and turbidity, wall pressure. What is wall pressure? When the After the absorption of adequate amount of water by the cell sap and inside the cytoplasm, the cell content exert a pressure on the cell wall. In conquest, the cell wall also exert a pressure on the cell content. According to the Newton's third law, action and reaction, equal and opposite forces. So here, when the cell content exert pressure on the cell wall, then cell wall also exert pressure on the cell content. This type of pressure exerted by the cell wall on the cell content, it means the cytoplasmic membrane, this is called wall pressure. When cytoplasm exert pressure on the cell wall, then the cell wall also exert pressure on the cell content. This is called wall pressure. Is that clear? Now students, importance of osmosis. And after completing this topic, in next video lecture we are going to discuss about the absorption of water in plants. First we study about the absorption of water, then transportation of the food substances and their distribution or translocation to the various parts. We also study these topics. So, what is the importance of osmosis? The first, most important, you can say that importance is that absorption of water. Osmosis helps in absorption of water. Root pressure. During osmosis, the inward movement of the water is due to a pressure on the wall of the root, that is called root pressure. If this pressure is not exerted, then the upward movement of water or ascent movement of water does not take place in the plant. Distribution of water, as we clearly understand in the phenomena of endoosmosis and exoosmosis, how the distribution of the water takes place during the extreme climatic condition or during the favorable climatic condition. Like that, the distribution of water in the whole plant body takes place with the help of osmosis. It may be endoosmosis or exoosmosis, depend upon the climatic condition or atmospheric conditions. Now, the next one is the turbidity. Turbidity helps to maintain the balance of the substances inside the cell. As for example, if you inflated a balloon, it can hold only the amount of air according to their capacity. Likewise, this phenomena helps to provide the content or substances inside the cell according to the capacity of the cell. After that, the cell becomes saturated, and this saturation condition is known as turbidity. Osmotic pressure. This is the pressure that is very important for ascent movement of the water and minerals, which is accompanied by the process of osmosis. Thus, students, with the help of osmotic pressure, the distribution of the water and minerals take place in the different part of the plant body, from external atmospheric environment to the internal environment of the plant. Thus students, I hope you all of you clearly understand about this phenomena that is related with the transportation in water. We will going to discuss the absorption of water in plants in our next video lecture. Thanks for watching today's lecture.